Well, I misspoke at the end of the last video. I forgot that your textbook also has quadratic inequality, absolute values problems. And so I want to work one of those before we move into the inequalities. So here's, let's set up a problem. Absolute value of x squared minus x minus, what should we do, 12? Is equal to 4. All right, there we go. Absolute value of a quadratic equation equals to 4. And I'm going to tackle that the same way as I did the linear problems. All right, this describes points which are a distance of 4 from 0. And so this quantity is equal to either -4 or +4 because of what the absolute value tells you in terms of distance. So that sets up two equations. I have x squared minus x minus 12 equals to -4, and also x squared minus x minus 12 equals to +4. Well, so now we have two quadratic equations to solve. If I add 4 to both sides, I now have x squared minus x and minus 8 equals to 0. And I also have x squared minus x, subtract 4 here, minus 16 equals to 0. And that's going to be messy. I think probably both of them, yes, both of them are going to require that we use the quadratic formula to solve. And so I'll just do it real fast for sake of completeness. So x would be 1 plus or minus the square root of, 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times -8 over 2 times 1. Over here, x would equal to 1 plus or minus square root of 1 squared. Actually, it's -1 squared, but we'll get 1 squared when we square that. Minus 4 times 1 times -16 over 2. So we end up with these answers, and I realize I'm working this very fast, but my main idea was to illustrate how would you work a quadratic equation in absolute value, and it's not really a big deal, except that you might have to do quadratic equations. So here I have 1 plus 32, square root of 33 over 2. And over here, let's see, this is 1 plus 64. 1 plus or minus the square root of 65 over 2. All right, so there we go. Those are actually 4 answers to that problem. 4 different answers would solve this. But anyway, that's the idea. It's really nothing new. Once you understood the linear absolute value equations, then the quadratic absolute value equations work the same way, except you have to do more work at the end by solving the quadratic equation in most instances. All right, now let's go on to the inequalities.